Cold open.
Cold open.
Cold open.
Yeah. It's still fall.
Hey, Pete, I wanted to ask you something. Yeah.
What's that?
I want to know, do you consider yourself a hobbyist?
I don't know. I get real self-conscious about it when people ask me what my hobbies are, because I feel like I don't have that many. I mean, it's not like I'm a real hobby horse.
You feel like you should have more hobbies.
Yeah,
You feel like you have too little hobbies.
sometimes.
Well, it's better to have, too few hobbies than have too many hobbies or too weird of hobbies, You ever met someone who's got some weird hobby?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Strange interest. Like fish.
Usually stuff that can kill you. Not
Yeah.
like fish, like insects, snakes, spiders, but also like skydiving, scuba diving,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Wow. That's interesting. We should dive into all of that over the next hour or so, huh?
Weird hobbies.
Weird hobbies. Soft open, cold open. Ba-dum-bum-ba-bum. Welcome to the Mark and Pete podcast, episode 15 or episode 2, season 2. Depends on how you look at it. Or 3, episode 3, season 2.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Depends on how you look at it.
We're back. We're talking about weird hobbies. We've got the weirdest of hobbies. We've got dangerous hobbies. We've got gross hobbies. We've got spicy hobbies. We've got sweet hobbies.
Yeah.
I think Pete did all the research as usual. So I don't know what he's gonna pull out of the books today.
Yeah. Well, we got some weird ones.
What would you say your weirdest hobby is? Probably podcasting, right?
Probably podcasting.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird one.
You, yeah. That was
what I
the
would
last.
say.
That's the last one I put on the list because I was going to kind of round it out with by the way, podcasting is a hobby.
Oh, I see. Well,
But
best
I
laid
guess we're
plans.
doing it first. We're doing it first. Yeah, podcasting is a hobby. I mean,
It is a hobby,
there's
yeah.
a lot that goes into it, and it's pretty weird because you're just recording yourself, putting yourself out there on the internet.
It's no different than someone who's a musician for a hobby. Pretty common hobby, right?
Yeah, podcasting is a little weirder.
It is a little bit weirder.
Look
Yeah.
at the blurbs.
What about the blurbs?
It's just, where else are you going to find content like that?
Probably another podcast.
Or like a history book? I don't know. Wikipedia.
Yeah, Wikipedia. I don't know. It is a weird one because it's, well, I don't know. Music, you get better. Podcasting, you get better at it too, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, podcasting's not that weird of a hobby. Let's get into some real strange ones. What do we got
Right.
here?
Well, we got a whole laundry list
All right.
of weird hobbies.
Okay. And you have them structured somehow, right?
We'll see.
All right. Well, take us away, Pete.
So first one is collecting.
Oh, of course. It's like half of hobbies is collecting.
Half of all hobbies are like collecting.
Even like, if your hobby is playing the guitar, it's likely that you're going to start collecting things around that, right?
Yeah. Guitars, vintage guitars.
Yeah. Or just pics or, I don't know, pictures of guitar players, signed,
Yeah,
things
guitar
like that.
memorabilia.
Memorabilia, yeah.
Memorabilia.
Yeah, so a lot of people collect things. Do you collect anything?
I collect graphic novels, but I'm not like super hardcore about it. Like, I'm not going to buy it rated like 9.8 in like the plastic case and like never read it.
You collect graphic novels? I had no idea.
Yeah, I have a ton. My whole collection is in Wichita, but
Oh, it's your storage facility?
yeah.
Huh, I had no idea. Why don't you bring them over here? Why wouldn't you want your collection here where you can flip through it? You have that nice bookshelf. Fill it up with GNs.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
You know, a large portion of our follower on some social media channels is comic book collectors.
Yeah.
We should
yeah.
do an episode on comic books.
Well, not comic books, graphic novels.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to explain the difference
They're
for the folks at home.
between a comic book and a graphic novel.
Yeah,
You know it when you see it. Comic books are generally like short little paper issues. Graphic novels are books.
they're not made out of paper.
They are made out of paper, but they're like books.
So a graphic novel, it's like a movie as opposed to an episode of a TV show.
Yeah, exactly.
No, okay. And so you only do the movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
It seems like the two go hand in hand. But.
yeah, and there are a particular series I kind of like, but yeah, I wouldn't say I'm super hardcore into it. Now, someone I knew who collected things. Do you collect anything?
No, I don't really. I have like a few banjo things. You know, every time I see it, sometimes when I'm out and I see like a novelty banjo or something, I'll buy it. So I have like a handful of those.
This would be fun.
Yeah, this will be nice for my wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of collect banjo memorabilia.
Toy.
Banjo.
Yeah. Yeah. Tattoos. Toys are a big collectible, and people go so far as to like paint their own, they like assemble kits and like paint their own
Sure.
figurines.
Yeah, Warhammer. Right.
Warhammer, Gundam.
Yeah, I like that. I used to, for some reason, the town I grew up in, there was this women's clothing store called The Vault. Have I told you this story?
I don't think
I
so.
told the story on the air before.
I don't know.
It was a women's clothing store, but for some reason they had like a whole section for like model trains, like accessories for model train, like little miniature benches and cars and buildings and stuff, so that you could build your basement model train. What I figure is, some lady owned the women's clothing store, and probably like her husband was some model train nerd, and it was like a loophole to get wholesale pricing or something. Because it doesn't make any sense, right?
No.
But it
Women's
was
clothing, model
Yeah,
trains.
it doesn't make any sense. But it was great because my mom would go there to shop for clothes, and I would hang out and look at all the model train stuff.
You a model rail enthusiast?
I think there's the potential for it. Like I see a timeline in my future. If I move back into like a big house with a basement, I could get into model trains.
Yeah. Create just like a miniature world. Isn't that the appeal of it? You like create a miniature world.
Yeah, it's called like a model train set, or like the hobby is model trains, but I think the train is really a pretty small part of it. I think just building a miniature town is kind of I don't know. If you had a basement and unlimited resources to build your model train set, would you replicate an existing town, or would you build your own town?
I would probably try to build my own world.
Yeah, utopia.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, me too. All right, well, that's enough about that. So collecting, is that, or are we going to go down the list of things? We've
Just
done it.
let's
We've
name
done
some-
it. We've
yeah.
started. Toys was the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's a popular one is those what are those big-headed Funko dolls?
Oh, Funko Pops.
Funko Pops?
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
So stupid.
Seems pretty dumb. Yeah. People collect the hell
Oh,
out
I
of them,
got
though.
She-Hulk.
Yeah, they're just like little, if you haven't seen them,
I got the regular Hulk.
you usually see them in the box because, collectors, they buy things and then they keep them in the box. And they're just little figurines with giant heads. They kind of remind me of like bobbleheads. Remember when bobbleheads had their heyday?
Yeah. They are like bobbleheads.
Yeah, except their heads don't bobble. That was kind of the whole selling point of the bobblehead.
Yeah.
Their heads are just big. Not nearly as appealing, to me at least, but some people love them.
I don't think Funko Pops are particularly valuable though. I think people just get them for the novelty of them, and they like getting like rare figures.
I
Their
don't know.
favorite
Yeah, because
figures.
there is rare ones. I knew
But
someone.
I don't think they're particularly valuable.
I think they can be. I think they're like Beanie Babies. I knew someone who worked at the mall. What's the place in the mall that sells Funko?
Oh, I don't know.
It's like some subsidiary of Hot Topic. I forget what it is.
Spencer's.
Some Spencer's equivalent. But they said when they get a new shipment of some Funko doll, and especially a rare one, a limited edition one, there's people lined up at the door, and they just clean them right out. So it's a pretty hot hobby.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. To each their own, I say, though. To each their own. As long as your hobby isn't like tasting human flesh or like collecting child pornography, to each their own.
Yeah, so there are some horrible hobbies out there. Bill Cosby, he did not have the best hobby, right?
Could you call that? It was more of a pastime, really.
I'd say that's a hobby, right?
I guess.
He had a whole
Yeah.
technique and stuff.
Oh my God. Did he?
I think so.
Oh my
He
God.
seemed to do the exact same thing each time.
Is he back in jail now?
No, he's been like acquitted or something.
No. They got him again, though, didn't they?
Did they?
I think they did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's out of the cycle. Who are we talking about now? Adam Levine, right? He's the new.
Cheat on his wife. Also, the Try guy, who, the wife guy.
Oh,
cheated on his wife?
I did. I saw that trending on Twitter. Yeah, he got kicked out of the Try Guys.
Yeah. Way to ruin the greatest thing ever to happen to you.
Yeah,
And get kicked out of the Try Guys.
pretty wild. Because that's not really cheating on your wife's not a cancelable offense, really. That's really kind of between them. But I don't know.
I think he chose to live his life publicly enough in such a way, though, that like it became a big deal.
Yeah, I guess when you're a public figure. Now we're public figures. Are we to be scrutinized?
Just no.
No?
Just
Thank goodness.
limit what you share. Don't share your address. Don't let everyone know where your mom lives.
Yeah. Don't let your DMs leak,
Yeah.
You don't want a leaky DM.
Collectibles, geocaching. We've been geocaching.
So that's not collecting. I thought these were all collectibles.
No, it's like boop boop.
Yeah, geocaching's a hobby. It is a weird one. It's pretty cool. Yeah, we've been for the folks at home, geocaching is it's been around forever. What it used to be is you would go to some website and you'd get the coordinates for some some item that someone's hidden in some place. Sometimes in the middle of the city, sometimes it's out in the woods. But you just get the geo coordinates, and then back when we used to do it with before we had smartphones, and you'd have to have just like a GPS device.
Oh, a GPS device,
Yeah,
or
so
print out like MapQuest directions, like walk 100 feet and turn left at this bush.
I don't think you can really map quest, things that are off the road.
Oh, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so you just plug in the coordinates into your GPS, and go find. Sometimes it'd be like an ammo box, and people would leave little knickknacks in there, or sometimes it's just like a little scroll, and you just sign your name and when you found it. It's pretty fun. Some of them are really difficult. I've had to climb up into trees and on tops of rocks and stuff to get to them. That's a pretty good hobby.
Yep. I was into it for a hot minute, and my friend and I found every geocache in our neighborhood,
Sure.
everything in a 2-3 mile radius.
There's not that many of them because we looked into it. We found one over at the Kauffman Center, but there's not too many within the square.
Because now is it the
walkable
same?
area.
Is it the same website?
Yeah, it's gotten a little weird though. So it used to be just geocaching.com, but now they've moved to like a mobile app format. Now there's like premium geocaches. So they show you a few that are like free, but then they want you to like pay for the premium app subscription to see all the kind of bullshit.
So they're, oh man, I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that.
They're really monetizing it. Microtransactions, it's the
Yeah.
future we live in.
So some kid just trying to spend time with his dad is like, oh, please, can we buy premium, please?
Yeah. Bunch of
No.
nonsense. We should make a geocache.
Yeah.
Yeah, where would be a good place to drop one? In our alley,
The alley.
perhaps?
The
Yeah.
alley. Yeah.
I like it. Let's do that after this. Make a geocache. Do you have a good container?
I'm thinking like a film canister,
Oh yeah, real small one.
real small.
Okay, I like it. Picking up what you're putting down. It'll be the only geocache where you might get stabbed trying to find it.
Well, yeah, I had a note here. It's like hiking times urban exploration because you get both flavors. Like you can do it urban or you can do it out in the woods or out in the country.
Yeah, totally.
You can do it anywhere. That's pretty cool.
Just about anywhere.
Just about anywhere.
Yeah, I used to do them out in Arizona, like hiking up in the Superstition Mountains. We'd get way out there in the desert. Pretty intense out there, just us and the rattlesnakes, the cacti.
Yeah, you get the sense that you're like going somewhere where somewhere special.
Well, it's like a nice game because like hiking to me, like I like the nature and stuff, but it's nice to have some sort of gamification to it, make it, it adds a little purpose, a little goal,
Yeah.
a little sense of satisfaction.
You mean like the website, like collecting badges and stuff?
No, just like it's like a gamified hike,
Oh,
finding a geocache as opposed
Yeah.
to just taking a walk.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Alrighty, so that's geocaching. Check it out. It's a good hobby if you're outdoorsy or want to be more outdoorsy. It could be it's very similar
Yeah.
to Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
I've never played
it is.
Pokemon Go, but it has the same effect. Gets you outside, might get hit by a car. Yeah,
Good times.
yeah. All right, that was geocaching. And then hiking. There's also some people just explore abandoned buildings. What's that?
Like urban exploration.
Is that urbex?
Urbex.
Yeah, I've done some of that. Kind of. I used to do a lot when I was younger. We would walk around the Ponderosa Basin, and sometimes it'd be like new construction and stuff, and we'd walk in and explore.
Oh yeah, there's nothing better than a brand new construction site.
No.
Giant piles of sand and like lumber that you can just jump in and on.
Yeah,
Plenty of ways to get hurt.
climb around.
Nails sticking out.
Yeah,
all that copper wire.
All that sweet copper wire.
Hey, speaking of sweet finding sweet copper wire. Some people go dumpster diving.
Yeah. There's a better word for it. What is a euphemism for dumpster diving?
I did some research. I think people refer to it as upcycling.
Upcycling. Okay. Yeah.
Because you find something that someone has thrown out and you try to sell it for a higher value.
The opposite of throwing something away. It's taking something out of the garbage and claiming it as value again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I like the what's that Japanese thing where they if you break a pot or something and they fuse it back together with gold and then it's it's more beautiful because it had been destroyed or damaged. You never heard of this?
That's quite profound.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Look it up.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about,
Oh.
but it's just quite profound of you to mention that.
I guess. Yeah. It's, same thing as dumpster diving. Except it immediately becomes broken and then you fix it. You want to do dumpster diving? I used to dumpster dive back when I worked at the shoe shop. We would always need more cardboard boxes because we were constantly shipping boxes of shoes to ourselves at the different Renaissance fairs. And so I would have to go out to the Burger King, and they had a dumpster that was mostly just for cardboard boxes. And so I'd hop in the dumpster and search around for boxes that were the right size. Pretty cool, huh?
Do you have like special clothes you wear for that?
No,
Or do you just smell like garbage?
it wasn't that gross. It was all cardboard and plastic bags and stuff.
It's all fun and games till you find a staple in the cardboard.
Yeah. Yeah. But hey, who's got time to pay for boxes when there's free ones in the dumpster?
Yeah, I have a note that says it's like thrifting, question mark.
Kind of. Just a version of getting things for cheaper than retail. I have an uncle who likes to say, I never pay full price for anything. Some people really, really take pride in that, If they want some, Pete, other Pete, he's kind of that way. If he wants an item, he'll find the best deal on it, That's a bit of a hobby.
Yeah,
So,
thrifty.
well, that is really thrifting, right? Like thrifting is broader than thrift stores. Thrifting is just stretching your dollar.
It's like a way of life.
Yeah, I think coupon clipping could be a hobby too, right? Because wasn't there a show about that, like extreme something,
Some.
extreme couponers?
Yeah.
People find like some loopholes, like grocery stores and stuff, where they'll end up giving them. They'll have a cart full of stuff, and then the store will owe them money after everything's rung up. It's bizarre. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And then you just have using satellites and GPS. That's a hobby?
No, that was part of geocaching.
Oh, okay. You got to nest your lists.
Yeah, they're little dashes,
Yeah, I mean,
So
so you got a dash, and then you got to indent in. Oh, I see. I see what's going on here. It's another one. Ham radio.
Yeah, what does ham mean?
I don't know.
Do you know?
Ham. I don't know. It's shortwave radio is another term for it.
Yeah. That's kind of like podcasting.
Kind of, yeah, because they'll like broadcast. It's been around long. Yeah, it was really kind of like the original podcasting.
What do they broadcast though?
I don't, whatever sort of talk show they want to make, or crazy conspiracy theories, and that's whatever they want to get out there to the world.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
Yeah. Is that what DJ Diehard is that how he's reaching? I don't know. Where's he big in? Uganda. He's like a radio DJ.
Yeah.
It's big in Uganda.
He's just an internet radio guy.
Is it internet? It
Which
seems
is
like
kind of like ham radio.
I guess. Yeah. Unless you're just like into the technology, there's no reason to use ham over internet these days. But I don't know. What else we got here? Dumpster diving, LARPing, live action role playing.
Yeah, LARPing. It's like D&D with cosplay.
Yeah.
But it's also so much more than that. It could be Civil War reenactment.
Yeah, that's LARPing.
You could dress up like ninjas and fight each other.
Have you ever LARPed?
No, I haven't.
No?
Nah. I mean,
Missing out.
friends and I would just thwack each other over the head with some foam swords. But actually, maybe I have. I used to go airsofting, and we would everyone would try to get their. This was pretty much LARPing. Only we called it mil sim, meaning military simulation.
Yeah, it's LARPing.
You try to get your uniform and like your guns as accurate to like a specific character
Yeah.
as you can.
Okay. It's pretty extreme.
Yeah.
Were you into it, or was it just something you did because your friends were into it, or what was that?
The guys I played with were like way more into it than I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they'd be like, oh, I was in Desert Storm, so this is my period specific loadout.
Yeah. Nice.
And yeah, it's like very, very masculine LARPing.
Yeah, I guess, right? I don't know. I don't love the like military propaganda stuff, because I'm sure a lot of that's like injected into the culture of the youths, so that they'll want to join the military when they turn 18.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to watch out for that. I used to go to like pretty legit LARPing events, so like the shoe shop. We mostly went to Renaissance fairs, but there were a couple giant role playing events that we would go to and sell shoes there as well.
What kind of role play? Like fantasy?
Yeah, it was like Dungeons and Dragons-y sort of stuff.
Huh. So they had like an objective. They had like a campaign. Did they throw tennis balls and call them fireballs?
Yeah, it was mostly like just big battles on a field. And yeah, everyone's weapons are like pool noodles wrapped in duct tape, and shit like that.
Yeah.
And they just go whack the shit out of each other.
You catch that second season of Mythic Quest?
I don't know. I don't know if I've seen season 2.
They have a whole it's like a Foundation Day type episode, and everyone LARPs, and they do these like 2-on-2 battles with each other. I don't know. It's fun. It's hilarious.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, LARPing's cool. Would you do it again?
Yes.
Would you go LARPing? I think the Renaissance Fair is happening right now. I think this weekend might be the last weekend.
Yeah.
You want to go after this?
It's a big long Renaissance Fair. I'll think about it. You know what we could do? We could go mushroom hunting.
Oh,
how does that
on the
sound?
list?
That's our next one.
I would be afraid to mushroom hunt because so many mushrooms are poisonous, right?
Yeah, this one could easily kill you.
And some are like, they look very, what do you mean this one?
This hobby.
Oh, yeah. Mushroom hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some look identical, to like edible ones. But you have to like know exactly how to identify them.
But the thing is, it seems like it's more popular than ever.
Yeah, I know. I've got some friends in the Pacific Northwest who definitely go out and hunt for mushrooms. I mean, some of them, it seems like they're so obvious looking. They look so different than a normal mushroom.
Yeah.
Like, there's probably not a poisonous equivalent out there. So, if you can go out and spot those. But, I mean, who likes mushrooms that much?
Mushrooms are still kind of gross,
I mean, I like mushrooms.
Fungus. Yeah, I like a portobello.
Yeah, I like a mushroom on a burger. But, I mean, it's $3 at the grocery store for a whole basket of them. So.
I do drink ashwagandha every morning.
What the fuck is that?
It's a mushroom.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's it for?
That's just mental clarity.
Does it work?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like it.
And it clears your mind?
Yeah. But I got to try to think not think too hard about it, because it is a mushroom still, and like that's kind of weird.
Are you weird about mushrooms?
I am weird about mushrooms. Have you ever seen a mushroom like eat?
I didn't know mushrooms ate.
They do. Yeah.
How?
And they like there's this beautiful like planet Earth time lapse of beautiful and horrifying.
I've seen some mushroom time lapses, yeah.
And they like spray like these like gut juices out onto the forest floor and like help it decay. And then they like eat the decaying
Really?
matter, leaves and stuff.
Pretty
pretty weird.
Flies do the same thing, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like
Gross.
flies. It's weird.
Gross. Yeah, don't think about it too much when a fly lands on your food, because chances are it landed and immediately vomited all over it. It started turning it into a mush that it could then slurp up with its little straw mouth. Gross.
Okay. So we've got another one though. We've got another one though. If you don't want to go mushroom hunting, you can go spotting whatever you want. You can spot trains, you can spot airplanes, you can spot birds.
Spotting. Yeah. Have you ever seen a train spotter?
I've been train spotting.
You've gone train spotting?
Over by the Western Auto Building. It's pretty peaceful.
Yeah. What do you do? Do you like keep a book of like what trains are which?
No, you can. There's this Instagram account that I follow that tracks a specific graffiti.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of track like graffiti around the country on trains. That's one way to do it.
Interesting. I've seen some TikToks or maybe their Instagrams or whatever, but it's like people that are like hobbyist train spotters and they know the trains. And like there was one I saw, a dude got so excited. Like it was like the double rainbow video, where you guys freaking out about the double rainbow. He's like freaking out about this, whatever the model of caboose that was on this train. He's like, ooh, wait. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty wild. Yeah. I've never had any hobby that's gotten me that riled up, Maybe I have the wrong hobbies.
There was a bird watching club in my high school. It was like an extracurricular. And I think it was just an excuse for people to get out of class early, go smoke weed, and then hang out at the nature center.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I wasn't in the club, but I heard lots of stories.
Oh, yeah. Should have been in the club, Pete. It's good extracurricular. Weird hobbies. What's another weird hobby, Pete?
Get this one. Home brewing.
Oh, see, I've always wanted to do this, but you really need a garage, right?
Yeah.
For the folks at home,
garage or basement.
They're referring to the brewing of beer, right?
Or kombucha.
Yeah, but mostly beer, right?
Yeah. Probably some of the... I don't know. I've had... The only homebrew beer I've had was like pumpkin beer, and it was really bad.
I bet, yeah. Because they probably didn't know exactly how much pumpkin flavor to add, or
Barf.
Yeah. Well, you're not a bumpkin for a pumpkin.
No, not really.
But I've had some good ones. I've got some buddies that brew, and they're good. Not like as good as. Obviously, if you have a professional brewing facility, you can make some better beer, but seems fun. Do you think you save money on beer if you're a big beer drinker, brewing it yourself?
Yeah, probably. There's some point at which it becomes more economical.
Seems like a real hassle, though, because I don't know. Can you can your own beer now, or you got to bottle it? Bottles.
I think most people bottle it.
Bottles are really falling out of fashion. They're so heavy. I was very against it at first. I would always get my craft beers in the glass bottle. Thought it tasted better. But you look at the science in the can, especially the insulated cans or the lined cans. They're superior for the quality of the beer in every way. Keeps it fresher longer.
So could you create like varietals of beer that don't even exist via home brewing? Like, give me like a wheat lager.
Yeah, I'm sure wheat lager exists, though. I don't know. There's like the core ingredients, and like what's the difference between an ale and a lager? Like a lager has to be like temperature controlled, or it has to be heated, as opposed to an ale is brewed cold, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
home brewer could tell you.
Yeah, find yourself a home brewer. There's lots of home brewing kits for like $100. You can get yourself like a little starter kit, probably pretty jank.
Now, is this hobby dangerous? Is there like the possibility of like a meth lab-esque explosion?
Yeah, probably not as dangerous as cooking meth, but no, I don't think probably that dangerous at all. You know, it is a dangerous one that I was when I lived in Mariposa. I was seeing some trailers blowing up and stuff. From this is hash extraction. You know, so for the stoners out there, hash. It's like it's marijuana. You know, cannabis, dope, the devil's lettuce. Somehow compressed, or they extract all the stuff that gets you all rogered up into some sort of oil or chalk or something. And one of the ways they do this is with butane. And so they spray a bunch of butane on the pot and then wait for the butane, and it soaks up all the weed juice, and then you let the butane evaporate, and then you just have the concentrate. And so, you know, you need to be doing that outside or in a well ventilated area. Otherwise, you know, you've got butane fumes everywhere. So that's another hobby.
Never would have guessed it. And they said
making.
Marijuana never killed anyone.
Yeah.
Au contraire.
Yeah.
Au contraire.
I'm sure there's plenty of, you know, if you start tugging on those threads, I mean, go out to a pot field, you know, and see how many AK-47s will be pointing at your face in a few minutes. Hobbies. Am I right?
Yeah. Speaking of dangerous ones, how about car drifting?
Yeah. So that's one. So you can do it legitimately. I worked with someone, her son was into it. Like one time she gave me a ride in her car, and it was full of like burnt tires in the back. It stunk so bad. But she was telling me, yeah, her son's he was like,
burnt tires smell terrible.
Yeah. She had like the Suburban and a bunch of burnt tires in the back of it. And yeah, so her son, you know, he goes out to a track or something and just drifts his heart out.
Yeah. Now, so drifting, in case you don't know, is intentionally losing control of the traction of your car on like a turn in order to slide.
Yeah. There's a whole Fast and the Furious movie about it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know,
theme song.
If you've ever like spun a donut, you know, you were drifting. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because, you know, I didn't think of donuts as drifting, but they totally are. And the internet said that drifting has kind of started waning in popularity, but based on where we live, I would say no, it hasn't at all.
They do this thing right in front of our building, you know, especially if like the Chiefs win or something. They call them, what do they call them? Sideshows?
Yeah, I think so.
Sideshows. So it's just like Fast and the Furious, where like some cars like will like stop in the middle of the road, and then so like kind of block up the road, and then cars will take turn spinning around in circles. Pretty wild. I saw a video the other day on the internet, probably on Reddit. You know that one crazy fucking videos subreddit make you watch, and so yeah, it was a video of someone getting run over during one of those. Yeah, pretty wild.
Pretty dangerous.
Yeah,
Fast and Furious.
That's a dangerous one. It's one of those. I think there is a right way to do it. You know, that's not as dangerous. And then there's what we see here in Kansas City, where people are just spinning around. They don't even like have like special cars for it. Like one of the cars that I see spinning around all the time is like a big black SUV. You know, it's not like a drift. I don't know what the best drifting car is, but
yeah, I thought for some reason the like drifting tracks were like oiled or something too.
Oh, right. Yeah.
There used to be these go-karts at a Sports World, which was the fun of all sports and world of all sports and games, everything fun, in Wichita, Kansas.
Yeah.
And they had 2 go-kart tracks. They had they had 3 go-kart tracks. They had like the big one, and they had like the little kiddie one, Then they had like a drifting track, and it was just an oval, but it was greased down so that you could like drift
really?
around it.
Oh, that sounds fun.
And that one was the most fun.
Yeah, well, I've done a lot of indoor go-kart racing, and there's drifting is definitely a big component in it. Yeah, I would say. Usually, any racing video game, you can get an edge by drifting. You know, Mario Kart or Crash Team Racing if you're on Xbox.
Yeah, no, that's a popular game. Tons of people play it.
I guess. Yeah, drifting.
Drifting.
What about just racing? You know,
Yeah.
it's also street
too.
racing. You know, it's all about family. That's pretty cool, right? You known anyone that street raced?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd
that work out for him?
Car wrecks, jail.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, not well.
It's a dangerous one. Yeah, I knew some people. You know what's the worst is that those people that street race, they're in that mode all the time. So I would like ride with them in their car, and they're fucking drifting around corners and stuff, and like
Midday traffic.
it's like we're just going on a beer run, pal. We don't need to be doing this. So dangerous.
Well,
Anywho, Segway polo.
Segway polo is like polo on horseback, only on Segway scooters.
Segways instead.
Now, this sport originated in 2004, and it was already nerdy as fuck. But I think the guy who started it was his name's Dean Kanan. He was the inventor of the Segway scooter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like how can this work in a sport?
And I don't know how much a horse goes for these days, but I think a Segway costs probably as much as a horse.
Oh, not when you think about long-term maintenance though.
On which one?
Horses are pretty expensive to maintain.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought Segways were pretty expensive to maintain.
No. Electric devices, I'm sure they're pretty easy. I've seen now the Segway company, it's kind of interesting. They're selling go-karts, they kind of just look like go-karts, but it's just the Segway, the part that you normally stand on. It's like that exact same part, and they've just mounted it to two more wheels and a seat.
So they've just invented this tiny little engine.
Yeah. They're like using the Segway as the core product now, expanding it out into. Makes sense, Like, why wouldn't they get into like the mobility scooters? Like a Rascal.
Yeah.
Segway Rascal. Why not?
Yeah.
You ever ride the ones that are provided by the grocery store?
No, I rode a wheel Segway once.
Yeah. How did you find it?
On the beach.
Really?
On the beach.
Like in the sand?
Yeah. It had kind of an off-road component to it.
Huh. Never would have thought.
It was like a tour type situation.
Oh, a Segway tour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Segway tour.
I've seen those roll by before some places.
Yeah.
Is that a fun way to get to know an area?
It's like, it's all right.
Yeah. Get your camera hanging from your neck.
I had it strapped to my forehead, actually.
Fanny pack on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun. Where was this?
The shores of Lake Erie.
Really?
Yeah.
What a tourista.
Yeah. So then some people decided to start playing polo on Segways, which...
While you were on this tour?
No. Somewhere along the line of the Segway being around, someone decided to start playing polo.
Now, I don't really know how polo works. I know it's on horses. I've been to a polo field.
It's kind of like Rocket League.
Yeah. But don't they, because they have to be able to pick up there's a ball?
Yeah.
There's a ball, and so they've got like a big long stick.
A mallet.
That they,
yeah,
are they just whacking it, or is it like lacrosse where it like scoops it up?
You whack it.
You're just whacking it.
It's like croquet, kind of.
Probably a pretty dangerous sport, huh? Some injuries. It's a real rich person sport, right?
Yes.
I mean, you gotta have a horse, and then you gotta have access to a polo field, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those rich people hobbies, like
Hoity-toity.
yeah, like there's some of those difficult to get into colleges. They'll have like big polo programs. Just as like it's almost like a backdoor way to like, oh, hey, if you can afford to get your kid into polo, get them reasonably good at polo, then we'll accept them for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Elitist. That was the word I was looking for.
Yeah, pretty elitist. What about water polo? See, now
that
we're getting
seems
on
hard
the
and
sports
physically
episode
demanding.
was last week, Pete. We're talking hobbies. This is a sport. Let's move on. Skydiving?
Now that's a hobby, right?
Yeah.
This is the weird hobby. When you asked if I knew anyone who did any weird hobbies, yeah, I know someone who skydives
Yeah.
and loves it.
Yeah, I know someone who skydives too. They're always posting videos of themselves jumping out of airplanes on Instagram. Yeah, that seems expensive too, right? Maybe it's not.
I don't know. I've heard skydiving's not that bad, but like getting your pilot's license is very expensive.
Yeah,
Learning to fly planes.
I'm sure the training is pretty expensive. You gotta get a pilot, you gotta hire them to teach you.
Yeah. Would you ever go skydiving?
No, I would not.
Not a Jill for the thrill.
Not a bites for the heights. It's I don't see the appeal of it. I don't think I would enjoy. I've tried to do certain activities like that, and I never end up enjoying them.
You piss your pants on the way down.
Yeah, it's just I'm just ridden with anxiety the whole time, and the payoff of the thrill is never worth it. What my friends used to be into grew up by the Merced River, and they go to this river, and everyone liked to jump off of cliffs into the river. Mm-hmm. Pretty dangerous, and I would do it sometimes on some of them. But I didn't like it. Like it was I would only do it because of peer pressure.
Isn't that's the classic example though? If all your friends were jumping off a cliff, wouldn't you?
Right? Yeah,
that's hilarious.
you would. Yeah. You ever do that? You ever jump off a cliff into a body of water?
Yeah, I jumped off like a really tall bridge once.
Yeah. A really tall bridge?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It seemed really tall.
Huh. Yeah. Did you like it or no?
Not really.
Yeah. I always land fucked up in the water too, goes up my nose and drown.
Yeah.
No good.
Well, but yeah, and I guess you could pair base jumping in with skydiving. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah, base jumping is skydiving, just not from an airplane, from a cliff instead, or a building or a bridge. What about those little squirrel suits like that?
Yeah, once you get good enough at skydiving, you can do the squirrel suit.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Sometimes they do those. I guess they always have a parachute for the end, but they can go so far with just the squirrel suit. Google it if you haven't seen it. Squirrel. There's probably a real word for it. A squirrel suit,
Wingsuit.
wingsuit. It's like like a flying squirrel. It's got the webbing between the arms and the legs, and you can actually fly like that, which is weird because it took so long for us to figure out how to make airplanes and stuff and fly that way. The squirrel suit thing,
Yeah,
seems
yeah,
like
yeah.
that would have been easy to
And
invent.
suddenly we have the miracle of flight, like in on a person.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like hang gliders too.
Yeah.
Like that's not that hard to figure out. It's just a triangle with a big sail on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. This harkens back to that whole flight episode we recorded that we lost.
Yeah.
The lost episode
Yeah.
of Mark and Pete podcast.
Yep. Yeah, we did a whole episode about flying and airplanes and stuff. And then one of the mics wasn't recording. So we ended up doing an episode about Kansas City barbecue. And yeah.
Crushed it.
Crushed it. All right. What else do we have, Pete?
What? Yeah. I don't know. Keyboard collecting. Apparently, some people do that.
Yeah. I collect mechanical keyboards, and build them and stuff. It's
That's collecting again, I guess.
that is
It's kind of a
collecting.
repeat. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about guerrilla gardening? Punks planting plants.
Not familiar with this.
So it's like graffiti, only with plants. So you take a bunch of seeds and just throw them in like a planter on the sidewalk and grow wildflowers. Or like you somehow fertilize the edge of a building and grow grow plants on the side of it.
Sounds pretty interesting. Sounds kind of cool.
Guerrilla gardening.
Like, have you ever seen the people that knit or they crochet onto things in the street?
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be like a parking meter, and they'll just like knit a little sweater onto it.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I like that because it's non-destructive. I don't know about the gardening part. If you're like dropping a bunch of soil onto the sidewalk and then planting things on it, but yeah, seems like it's got the potential to be a pretty cool hobby.
Yeah. I've seen some cool like murals done with like ivy and plants like that grow up on the side of a building in a very artful way.
What are your thoughts on graffiti?
Yeah, it's a hobby.
It is. It is. Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
I personally don't really mind it that much,
Yeah.
but I guess if it's like gang affiliated, then that could be a problem.
Well, and I think there's like a whole
What?
like, a tastefulness component, like a great thing. If you want to do graffiti, you got to find the right spots to do it. I've seen some graffiti that I don't appreciate. Like there's some tag, right? I can see it out my window where there used to be like a cool old sign for this. It was called the Czar Bar, and it was like a cool vintagey looking painted sign on the side of this building. And now there's just a tag painted over it.
Oh yeah, they just ruined it.
Yeah, they ruined that. That was like a historic thing. Like find something that's not gonna don't cover up cool stuff with your tag. I don't think.
Yeah, yeah,
Train cars is a good one. Tag the train cars, and then they travel around the country. That's fun. Or there's plenty of just old abandoned buildings. But I don't know. I knew some people that were in the tagging culture. They called it getting up.
getting up,
Getting
like
up.
that Q-Tip song.
Perhaps. Yeah. Like part of one component was there's like places that are especially hard to tag because either they're heavily surveilled or they're just hard to climb up to, and that's kind of neat. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, there's an artistry in just getting to the spot.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I've seen some, on like big like underpasses and stuff. Like, it's like, how the heck did they get
In
up there?
Seattle, some of that graffiti is insane. Along the highway, along 5,
Yeah,
it's just crazy. It's impossible to think that a person could get to these spots. You'd have to like stop your car in the middle of traffic
Yeah. And I guess, so like the harder physically it is to get up to a spot, probably the higher chance that your graffiti is going to stay there for a good while. It's going to be harder for them to paint over it
Yeah.
or wash it off or whatever they're going to do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's neat, but I mean, I like a commissioned mural better, Give them a little, scissor lift and, let them take their time and make something beautiful instead of just like fucking Dave One, He's the most hated tagger in Kansas City. Dave One. You heard of this guy?
Yeah. What's his calling card? What's his tag?
Dave One. Yeah. Yeah, and he sucks. He just crudely tags Dave One all over the place, and he does it in like the most untasteful spots. In parks, on like monuments and stuff like that. Just, not appreciated. He got doxxed. He was on the Kansas City subreddit. He used to post his tags there, and then some Reddit hacker figured out who he was and doxed him. So I think he might have gotten busted eventually.
It's a dangerous game.
Yep. All right. So what else we got?
Ghost hunting.
Ghost hunting.
Yeah.
Is that-
It's important. You need your EMF reader. You need your full spectrum cameras. You need your EVP recorders.
Yeah.
There's a whole laundry list of shit that you need to be a ghost hunter.
I wonder how that stuff really works.
to give you readings.
Yeah.
Based on.
Yeah. Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah. But it's real. I knew a girl in high school.
Yeah.
Her parents are divorced, and her dad was a professional ghost hunter.
Really? Professional. So not a hobbyist. He was a pro.
Well, so here's what he did. He'd take these big trips, like 2 or 3 times a year. And he'd be gone for like a month. He'd go to some castle in Ireland or like
What?
some castle in Japan. And he brought all of his stuff with him, and he brought a team of people, and he had a blog. I think his name was Mark
Strong name.
Tongue. I'm not sure his last name. But yeah, he was the real deal.
That's what was he the star of that show, Ghost Hunters?
No, he was familiar with them.
I would imagine.
Yeah, it's got to be a small community.
Yeah. So he was getting paid to go to these places and hunt and kill the ghosts? Can you kill a ghost?
I don't know how much he was getting paid. I'll tell you that.
Well, he's really stretching the definition of the word professional.
I mean, do you get paid for a hobby?
No, yeah. Well, you don't call it professional,
Oh.
I'm not a professional keyboard collector.
Well, yeah, he was well versed in ghost hunting.
Okay.
Claims to have seen some ghosts.
Sure. As Mo said, do you believe in ghosts? I ain't afraid of no ghost.
I'm afraid no ghost. When it.
Yeah, do you believe in ghosts, Pete?
I believe in spooky things.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
So what does that mean?
I wouldn't rule out the possibility that places are haunted. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do think there's a chance that ghosts might exist?
Yes.
Yeah, my family, my brother and my mom seem to think that a couple of the houses that they lived in Napa were haunted. There would be some weird stuff happening occasionally. I stayed at that house for a while. Like one time, 2 a.m, we're all asleep in bed. There's a big smash sound in the kitchen, and just one of the one of the pictures hanging on the wall had just fallen inexplicably. Like the nail was still there in the wall, but the picture had just fallen flat. This is spooky, huh? And they had a cat, mild cat, Spain, and sometimes Spain would be able to get like in and out of the garage, even though there's like a door in the kitchen to the garage, and so they would watch it like open for him sometimes and go in.
That's pretty weird.
Pretty creepy. My brother said
Where did the ghosts come from?
I don't know. What do you mean?
Like, did someone else like own the house before them or something?
Yeah.
How is it haunted?
Yeah, probably the previous tenants or something. Or maybe not the ones right before, but yeah. Well, something about the town of Yountville seems pretty haunted. I don't know. The way they tell the stories, they are fully convinced. My brother said he had like friends over, and I don't remember what it was that happened, but his friends were so freaked out they went home in the middle of the night. It was like midnight, and something so weird happened that they're like, you know what? We're just gonna go home. They did not want to sleep there.
Yeah. Huh. Well, you should have set up an EMF reader.
Yeah, but what's that gonna help?
Sense some spooky spectral shit.
Yeah, I don't really believe in a lot of that stuff, but I don't know. Better to be safe than sorry. Like when I moved into this place, I remember we saged it.
Yeah.
Saged the bejesus out of it.
Yeah, there was a lot of bad energy in this apartment, to be fair.
There was a couple that were constantly fighting in here.
Yeah.
Probably some sex trafficking or something going on. Who knows? Who knows? Ghost hunting. That reminded me of storm chasing. It's another hobby.
Yeah. Big in Kansas. Lots of people are
bet.
storm chasers.
I bet.
They build these cars and like cover them in metal. So they're like these tanks that they drive just into the middle of a tornado.
Really?
It's crazy.
That's wild. I'd like to see one of these cars. Sounds pretty cool. I bet it looks crazy when you're so loud, right? Tornadoes.
Yeah.
They
sounds
sound
like a freight train.
Yeah. They had one in Florida the other day, right? I think I saw some footage of a Floridian tornado. No?
Hurricane?
No, it was a tornado. It was probably from the hurricane that was coming in. At the time, it was just a tropical storm. Did it like turn into a hurricane? That was weird. What happened with that Florida weather event? They said tropical storm, and then it seemed to like really fuck things up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to Florida news.
Yeah, Pete's pretty anti-Florida.
I don't really care.
Ah, all right.
Now, what is crazy also are those planes that they fly into like the eye of a hurricane
Why do they do that?
to take measurements.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
See
that's
what-
kind
see
of
what
a
the
form
girth
of
is?
form of storm chasing. And then
Yeah.
there was this documentary called Love on Fire, I think. And it was about a couple who were volcanologists, and they died in a volcano together.
On purpose? Murder suicide?
Pure accident. Accidentally.
Nah.
But that's kind of storm chasing too.
I guess. I mean, you don't really have to chase a volcano. It doesn't move. It's always in the same spot. Am I right?
Well, it was erupting and they traveled to the volcano.
I see. So you have to seek out the active ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be cool to. There's some volcanoes that are like always active, right? Like in Hawaii. You can watch like lava flowing out of them.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty cool. Pretty cool.
You want to know what's not pretty cool?
What?
There's this next hobby, soap carving.
Soap carving?
Soap carving.
Whittling?
You've heard of whittling. You've heard of woodworking. Here's soap carving.
Now, soap carving is a prison hobby.
Could be, yeah. If you can get something sharp enough to carve it with. Although, I guess your fingernails grow long enough and you can just use those.
I think that's the idea. Is soap is malleable enough that you can carve it with any sort of crude utensil. You don't need a sharp knife. Unlike wood, you need something sharp to carve it with.
Yeah.
So, it's making lemonade out of lemons. Or, I don't know, making a dick out of soap, whatever you're carving. I knew a guy who was a hobbyist whittler. He was a firefighter. So he spent a lot of time out in the woods. And what he would do when he'd be like stationed out in the woods, and they're camping, and he'd have some downtime, he would just grab a stick and whittle it into the shape of a cock. And
Hey, guys.
he'd go to his house, and he'd have a bunch of whittled penises.
Yeah. Was he okay in the brain?
He was pretty normal guy otherwise.
Sounds like some smoke inhalation.
Perhaps. Or, you get bored out there. Some jobs are, real boring.
Dicks and dicks and dicks.
Yeah. What about, speaking of woodsy things and hunting things, some people like to hunt mythological creatures,
Cryptid hunting.
What?
Cryptid hunting.
What's the cryptid part?
Cryptids are mythological creatures.
Oh, it's another word for
like the chupacabra, like the Loch Ness monster,
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Yeah, probably the most famous mythological creature that at least that people think exists.
I was watching a clip of some people hunting Bigfoot, and they were like, so you think with all of this science and technology that we would know whether or not Bigfoot exists.
I think we do.
But you get out there in the woods and you could totally understand how we could not know if Bigfoot exists.
Yeah. But the weird thing with Bigfoot is it's like there's one Bigfoot. Everyone's looking for the same one. I mean, obviously it would have died of old age by now, right?
Maybe.
It's a mammal. What's the oldest living mammal? A whale?
Tortoise is not a mammal.
Sure isn't, Pete. I don't know. Well, if Bigfoot exists, there would be big feet. There'd have to be multiple Bigfoot.
Yeah, Sasquatches.
Sasquai. Yeah, I reckon they probably don't exist. It's the same thing with aliens. Now that like camera technology and everything has gotten, you would think there would be now with everyone with a high definition camera in their pocket, we would have tons and tons of more UFO footage because we used to have a fair amount of it, back in the film camera days. But no, now it's less and less. When was the last time someone released a convincing shot of Bigfoot?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's been forever ago. Forever. And all the old good shots, have been proven to be hoaxes.
Now, the Loch Ness monster could be real.
No, same thing. The guy, he carried the hoax to his deathbed, but then on his deathbed revealed that the whole thing was a hoax. The guy that took the picture and released the picture. Yeah, Loch Ness monster. Bunch of bull hockey.
How about the New Jersey Devil?
I'm not familiar with this one.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Yeah, what's the New Jersey Devil?
I don't know. It's some sort of demon that lives around New Jersey.
Yeah. Is that a sports mascot?
It is. It's a hockey team.
Yeah.
Keep coming back to sports.
I know. We just love those sports. Sports. You got anything else on here? Soap carving, and then you circled it around back to podcasting.
Yep.
which we already touched on.
Very first.
Podcasting it's kind of like collecting, because you create and you collect episodes, you store them in your podcast host in YouTube, and then you look at them, you see what they're doing, you see if anyone's been watching them, listening to them.
Yeah. And you research and you tweak.
Yeah, it's as good a hobby as any, I'd say.
Sounds good to me.
Oh, strong finish to this episode. Am I right, guys?
Woo!
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell your friends about the Mark and Pete podcast. Get them hooked. Get them hooked like a book. Hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah. Next comes the multi-level marketing scheme.
Multi-level marketing schemes next week. Keep an eye out when we talk about Ponzi. That'd be a good episode topic, huh? Ponzi schemes.
Yeah, could be.
Famous Ponzi schemes through history. You know, you go through like Madoff and Ponzi. You know, whatever his was.
Yeah.
Herbalife. So many of them.
Yeah. I don't know how to make it like shocking though, you know.
They're interesting stories. The Madoff story is crazy.
Yeah. I just watched a documentary about
Bernie Madoff.
multi-level marketing. I think it was like a John Oliver, you know.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. He did a whole hour on that.
Yep. John, I used to watch a lot of John Oliver, but it's never feel good, you know?
No, it's feel bad.
Yeah. It's just British man makes you feel bad. But that's fine.
Hey, we make you feel good.
Yeah. We're the yin to Oliver's yang.
Yeah.
Yang?
Yeah, yeah.
Yin yang. It's been real. It's been fun.
We love you.
Let us know what your weird hobbies are in the comments.